الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وقضى ربك ألا تعبدوا إلا إياه وبالوالدين إحسانا إما يبلغن عندك الكبر أحدهما أو كلاهما فلا تقل لهما أف ولا تنهرهما وقل لهما قولا كريما واخفض لهما جناح الذل من الرحمة وقل رب ارحمهما كما ربياني صغيرا صدق الله العظيم. Tonight is the 23rd of April 2020. It is the first night of the month of Ramadan. As Muslims throughout the world are beginning this blessed month of Ramadan, the world is facing a very unique and amazing situation. It is also a situation that can be called very strange depending on how you look at it. The qada and decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is that He has decreed for a pandemic to take over the world. A pandemic is an epidemic that becomes global, takes over the whole world, a plague. It is called COVID-19 or coronavirus, SARS-2. Tens of thousands have lost their lives, or hundreds of thousands have lost their lives to this virus. The number of people infected is in the millions. So it was with the wisdom of our akabir ulama, our elder scholars, that the masajid remain closed so that we are able to contain this virus and not spread it to the Muslim community or the Muslims around us. Preservation of life, it is one of the very foundational pillars of our deen. So now we are in the beginning of the month of Ramadan. All of us who are here and who may see this particular video should understand and realize that in our lifetime, there has never been even one night of the month of Ramadan in our lives that we have not gone to the masjid. It has never happened that we did not go to the masjid in the daytime or we missed the timings in the nighttime. For us, being in the masjid, in the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala during the month of Ramadan, it is as essential to us as water is essential to the body. This is how we have grown up This is what we are used to. So this has been a very amazing time, for lack of better words, because when it comes to the qadr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when it comes to the decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as believers, as Muslim, we are required just to bow our head in submission. This is the very meaning of Muslim. A Muslim is one who submits to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even if that submission means going against their desires, going against what they love, going against what they're used to. In essence, this is a test of our iman to see if we are ready to bow to the decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this blessed month of Ramadan. This is what we are taught in the month of Ramadan, to forego our own desires. The desire of every believer is to be in the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this blessed month. What is amazing about our deen, this beautiful deen of Islam, is that it has given us ahkam, laws and regulations, rules and regulations that apply to every time. And what is more amazing is that looking at the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam and the lives of the Sahaba radiyallahu anhum at that time, how they spent their month of Ramadan, which was very personal for them when it came to their connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As we know, during the lifetime of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, much of the ibadah, most of the ibadah was done on a very personal level. It was not known to be done in congregation. Even the Taraweeh, which is the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, it was only prayed for a few nights, 2 or 3 nights. And after that, it didn't happen again in the month of Ramadan. So this is also a very great chance for us believers. A believer is one who is taught, أُطْلُبُ الْخَيْرَ فِي مَا وَقَعَ. This is a very, very beautiful saying. أُطْلُبُ الْخَيْرَ, seek the khayr, seek the good, فِي مَا وَقَعَ, in whatever happens. This is what is amazing about the condition of a believer, of a mu'min. Even Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam has told us in a beautiful hadith that amazing is the condition of a believer when he has good times and good conditions, so he is grateful and he's rewarded. He says, Alhamdulillah. And when he's faced with difficulties, so he's patient and understands that it is the qadr of Allah, the decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So then again, they're rewarded. We've been taught, أُطْلُبُ الْخَيْرَ فِي مَا وَقَعَ. Seek the khayr, seek the good in whatever happens. So whatever is happening, we should direct our emotions, as we understand it is an emotional time for many of us. Many of us will be even put in tears of the fact that the month of Ramadan has started and we're not able to even see the masjid. But this is a time of deep reflection. And we should seek the khayr in all of this. Spending this month of Ramadan, this may be a chance for us to do more ibadah than we were doing throughout the rest of our lives when the month of Ramadan would come. And that should be our reaction. That in this month of Ramadan, we should all make this niyyah, this intention that whatever ibadah, whatever good deeds I was doing before, I will make an utmost effort to do more ibadah, to do even more good deeds, or to perfect my ibadah. For example, the Taraweeh, we have a fixed number. We may not be able to do more than that, but we can fix the quality of our khushu', our devotion and concentration in the Taraweeh. We can fix our devotion and concentration in our Fard Salah. We can spend more time with the tilawat of the Quran. We can spend more time in the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Coming to this blessed month, we have been given a chance to study portions of our deen that we may have not paid attention to in our lives and may have not taken time out to really learn and study them properly. Especially when it comes to huquq al-ibad and also when it comes to akhlaq. When it comes to our character, our morals, when it comes to the rights of those around us. There are many things that we may have heard before, but we have not really spent time trying to learn them properly or study them properly. So we should try our best to spend this time in studying these, and we have selected particular ayat from the ayat of the Quran. The ayat that I just recited, which inshallah will continue with these ayat. This is ayat number 23 of Surah Bani Israel. Surah Bani Israel. This surah also has another name. It is also known as Surah Al-Isra. So Surah Al-Isra or Surah Bani Israel, which is the 17th surah of the Quran in the chronological order we have now. This 17th surah of the Quran, ayat number 23 of this surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in this ayah and in the coming ayat, He mentions the commandments that He gave to the Bani Israel, the 10 commandments and more. What the Bani Israel, what the Jews they were given, the Yahud, what commandments they were given. And these commandments are universal commandments for all of us as well as believers. Many of these are related to huquq al-ibad, the rights of those around us. Many of these are related to our own akhlaq and character. In beautiful format, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions multiple of these ahkam, not just the 10 commandments, but much more are mentioned. And they're a very, very great lesson for us to understand and to learn. Insha'Allah, in this month of Ramadan, we will try our best to cover all of these ahkam within these ayat, these laws that are mentioned within these ayat. We'll try to go over the details as much as we can in the time that we'll be having every night, insha'Allah. One thing that we should understand that is very, very important in the life of a believer is that whenever we take on any endeavor, whenever we begin anything, we begin something, there are a few important matters that have to be made very clear. First and foremost, we have to check our niyyah, our intention. إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. This is a very, very famous hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. All actions are judged by intentions. وَإِنَّمَا لِكُلِّ امْرِئٍ مَّا نَوَىٰ. And every person is with their intentions, means every person will be judged to the extent of their intention. So whenever we perform any amal, any righteous deed, we should first and foremost check our intention. If our intention is that we will take time out every day, these few minutes every day, listen to a good lecture, enjoy it, and then move on. So then we may have missed the main mark or the main purpose of this halaqah, of this gathering. But our intention should be that we'll make an utmost effort that whatever advices we are given, whatever new thing we learn, we'll try our best to understand it. And we'll make an effort, a genuine effort to implement it into our life. Because we have to understand that no one can change our life except us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has given every human being this power of will. If a person does not want to change, so then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala leaves the person to their own way. First and foremost, a person must make niyyah and intention, must have this zeal within them to change and to become better people. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also opens the doors of hidayah and guidance for whomsoever He wants. Yes, we understand that hidayah is in the control of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created a system in this universe, and that system, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created within that system this particular rule of people wanting to change, starting from the individual person and then extending to a community. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the ayat of the Quran, وَأَن لَيْسَ لِلْإِنسَانِ إِلَّا مَا سَعَى وَأَنَّ سَعْيَهُ سَوْفَ يُرَى ثُمَّ يُجْزَاهُ الْجَزَاءَ الْأَوْفَى. For this human being, there is nothing but what he strives for, what he makes an effort for. And very soon his efforts will be seen, the fruits of his efforts will be seen. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will reward or recompense every person accordingly. That is for the individual. So to have this intention, this niyyah, that we will make a genuine effort to actually want to change and make an effort in that better direction for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if every single individual of us, amongst us, we make this niyyah, then as a whole nation, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will change our conditions. We're told in Surah Al-Ra'd, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran in Surah Al-Ra'd, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُغَيِّرُ مَا بِقَوْمٍ حَتَّى يُغَيِّرُوا مَا بِأَنفُسِهِمْ. Definitely Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He does not change on a nation, or does not change the condition of a nation until they want to change themselves. So we have to have this intention. This is very, very important. And along with this, once we correct our intention, then we also understand that it is not just knowledge or information that is enough. Our amal is also important. We have to act upon that knowledge, because that is one of the questions that will be asked on the Day of Judgment. How much did we really practice the ilm and knowledge that we had? So beginning with this, first and foremost, the intention and niyyah. We should correct our intention that we're here for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that inshallah whatever we learn, we will bring into our life and will implement in our lives. And also this knowledge, the requirement of this ilm and knowledge is action and amal. Otherwise we will be questioned for this on the Day of Judgment, that we had ilm and knowledge about something but we did not practice it. So then we may be held liable. This is enough for our first halaqah. We will stop here. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give all of us understanding and give all of us the tawfiq to practice His deen. وَمَا عَلَيْنَا إِلَّا الْبَلَاغِ. Inshallah, we'll make our dua after the halaqah of the hadith. After we read a few hadith, then we'll make our dua, inshallah, and then we'll move on to the tilawah, inshallah. So the system of tonight is that we have just done a brief bayan or a brief discussion regarding the akhlaq and huquq al-ibad. The next step will be a short few minutes of hadith, and then we'll have a few minutes of a summary of whatever we'll be reciting for tonight. Then we leave all of you to the option to sit and listen to that dawr that we already explained in the past few days. to listen to the tilawat of the Quran. We'll be reciting. You can also follow along. You can open your Quran and follow along with the recitation. Obviously, it will be done at a quick pace, the pace of Taraweeh. And then inshallah after that, those also if no one, some do not want to stay for that tilawah, they can do their Taraweeh. But after that tilawah, then inshallah we will disperse and we'll pray our own Taraweeh, inshallah. So we'll take a few minutes for the hadith, the words of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد عن عمر رضي الله عنه قال قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم Sayyidina Umar رضي الله عنه, he narrates that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, and we should say sallallahu alayhi wasallam, that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, Ya ibn al-Khattab, O son of Khattab. This was also the name, Sayyidina Umar ibn al-Khattab. So, Ya ibn al-Khattab, O son of al-Khattab, idhab, go, fanadi fin nas, and make an announcement to the people, annahu la yadkhulul jannah illa al-mu'minun, then no one will enter into paradise except al-mu'minun, the believers. Rawahu Muslim. This hadith is in Sahih Muslim. So that is why it is important that we develop iman and have belief and iman in our lives. Without iman, without belief, the person will not enter into paradise. عن أبي ليلى رضي الله عنه عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. Abu Layla رضي الله عنه, the father of Layla رضي الله عنه, he narrates that Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم said, ويحكم يا أبا سفيان قد جئتكم بالدنيا والآخرة فأسلموا تسلموا. ويحكم يا أبا, ويحكم is a term in Arabic that is used that when we say to someone that I feel sorry for you. That's how we say in English, like I feel sorry for you. I mean, for lack of better translation, he said, وَيْحَكَ يَا أَبَا سُفْيَانَ, I feel very sorry for you, Abu Sufyan. قَدْ جِئْتُكُمْ بِالدُّنْيَا وَالْآخِرَةِ, I have come to you with the success of this world and of the hereafter. It's accepting Iman, accepting Islam. It will grant a person success in this world and in the hereafter. And that, what is that success of this world and the hereafter? فَأَسْلِمُوا تَسْلَمُوا, that you should accept Islam. You should accept Islam, you'll be left in peace. You'll have harmony in this world and also in the hereafter. وهو بعض الحديث, this is just part of a hadith. رواه الطبراني, this hadith is in Tabrani. عن أنس رضي الله عنه قال سمعت النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول, Anas رضي الله عنه, he narrates that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, Anas radiallahu anhu, he narrates that I heard Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam saying, إِذَا كَانَ يَوْمُ الْقِيَامَةِ شُفِّعْتُ, that when it is the day of judgment, or when the day of judgment will happen and take place, شُفِّعْتُ, I will intercede, I will begin my intercession. فَقُلْتُ, so I will make dua and I will say, Ya Rabbi, O my Rabb, O Allah, أدخل الجنة من كان في قلبه خردلة, that O my Rabb, O Allah, enter into paradise someone who has a mustard grain amount of iman, or a small grain amount of iman, very, very minute amount of belief, or very minute good in them. This will be the shafa'a and the intercession or the dua of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam on the Day of Judgment. فَيَدْخُلُونَ, so then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will enter those people into paradise. ثُمَّ أَقُولُ, then again I will say, I will make dua. أَدْخِلِ الْجَنَّةَ, enter into paradise. مَنْ كَانَ فِي قَلْبِهِ أَدْنَى شَيْءٍ, enter into paradise anyone who even had less than that, or even the smallest amount of iman and belief or good in them, that they may also be entered into paradise. So then those people will be then taken out of Jahannam and they'll be eventually admitted into paradise. Rawahul Bukhari, this hadith is in Sahih Bukhari. Aw kama qala alayhi salatu wasalam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give all of us understanding and give us the tawfiq to practice His deen. Wa ma alayna illa al-balagh. Just briefly, we will inshallah begin the tilawat of the Quran. Tonight, inshallah, we will recite Surah Al-Fatiha. And we'll recite more than one juz of Surah Al-Baqarah. Alhamdulillah, throughout this past year, by the fadl and grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have done the detailed tafsir of Surah Al-Fatiha. We have done the detailed tafsir of the first juz, almost the whole first juz. So tonight what I will do is I will go ahead and start a brief explanation of one ayah for tomorrow. And then tomorrow we will also do one ayah from tomorrow's recitation. Because the second half of Surah Al-Baqarah will be recited tomorrow. That half has some very amazing ayat as well, as this portion has already been done in much more detail. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, starting from tomorrow's recitation, that we'll start from tomorrow Ayatul Bir. That is known as Ayatul Bir or Abwabul Bir, the verse that relates to the chapters of righteousness. This ayah, Abwabul Bir, the ayat of Abwabul Bir, this is ayat number 177 of Surah Al-Baqarah. This ayat contains the chapters of righteousness, and it is a very, very comprehensive ayah in relation to what is true righteousness or what is real piety. Just to give the translation so we don't have much time to go into the details. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, لَيْسَ الْبِرَّ أَن تُوَلُّوا وُجُوهَكُمْ قِبَلَ الْمَشْرِقِ وَالْمَغْرِبِ. It is not righteous, it is not al-bir or righteousness that you turn your face to the east or to the west. Which means sometimes we get carried away with discussions that have nothing to do with righteousness. Our main focus should be what is real righteousness. And this happens in our time, in this time also. Sometimes we get into these strange arguments that have very little to do with what is real righteousness. And we should focus on what is real ibadah. وَلَكِنَّ الْبِرُّ, what is real righteousness? مَنْ آمَنَ بِاللَّهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ وَالْمَلَائِكَةِ وَالْكِتَابِ وَالنَّبِيِّينَ. Real righteousness and piety is that a person believes in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the Day of Judgment, in the angels, in the revealed scriptures, and in all of the prophets and messengers. وَآتَ الْمَالَ عَلَى حُبِّهِ ذَوِي الْقُرْبَى وَالْيَتَامَى وَالْمَسَاكِينَ وَابْنَ السَّبِيلِ. And he gives from his wealth which he loves to his relatives and to the orphans and to those who are homeless and poor and the traveler. وَالسَّائِلِينَ, he also gives to the beggars. وَفِي الرِّقَابِ, he also gives to the riqab, those that were in prison and then they came out, they don't have anything. Also again, they fall into the category of poor. But sometimes what happens is the reason they have been singled out is sometimes we look at them as criminals. So then people do not help them whatsoever. They say this person has a record and we don't want to help him. They kind of have developed this hatred for that person. So many times Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a few places in the Quran has mentioned those who were captives and they came out of captivity. We should also consider to help them. We should not hold animosity against them. وَأَقَامَ الصَّلَاةَ وَآتَ الزَّكَاةَ, and establishing salah, paying zakah. وَالْمُوفُونَ بِعَهْدِهِمْ إِذَا عَاهَدُوا, and fulfilling our covenants when you have made a covenant, fulfill the terms of that covenant. وَالصَّابِرِينَ, and being patient. فِي الْبَأْسَاءِ وَالضَّرَّاءِ, in the face of the most difficult conditions. وَالضَّرَّاءِ, and in those conditions which can cause you great harm. So being patient in such conditions that we are in, having sabr and patience even in these conditions, and is also from righteousness and piety. In the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, we have been told that if waba or this plague breaks out in a society, in a city, and a person stays there patiently and hoping for the reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for such a person is the reward of a shaheed. What's amazing is that that hadith does not single out those that pass away from that pandemic. The reward of shaheed is for everyone who is patient at that time. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the muhaddithin have mentioned that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give everyone that reward of shaheed. And the reward of a shaheed is so great. Especially now the month of Ramadan is also here. So that is adding to that reward. And we should really spend this time in ibadah and in dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And during warfare, a person is patient. أُولَٰئِكَ الَّذِينَ صَدَقُوا وَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُتَّقُونَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, those are the people who are true in their claim, or they are true in their righteousness. وَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُتَّقُونَ, and those are the people who are real muttaqun. So that is the ayat of Abwabul Bir, or the chapters of righteousness. Just wanted to go over the basic translation of that this great and beautiful ayah. Inshallah, we will stop here for the basic bayan portion. And now, inshallah, we'll have our tilawah. We'll just make a simple dua. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant all of us the tawfiq and ability to take maximum benefit from this month of Ramadan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make this Ramadan one of the best Ramadans of our lives, and give us a chance to truly connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy. We should make dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mercy on humanity and gives hidayah and guidance to humanity. And through that removes from us this great difficulty, this waba, this adab. In reality, this waba, this is sent as a adab, as a punishment by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For the believers, it becomes a mercy. But Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told us that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent this as a adab for the disbelievers. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide humanity to what is right and what is hidayah and guidance into the beautiful deen of Islam. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala remove this pandemic from us, give us a way out of this pandemic. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give the status of shaheed to all those believers who have been afflicted and have passed away from this waba, from this pandemic. For the Muslims who are suffering all over the world, sometimes our own conditions make us heedless to make dua for those who are suffering all over the world. For the Muslims who are suffering all over the world, the refugees of Syria, those that are going through difficulty in Palestine and in Kashmir, and all the Muslims all over the world, wherever they are suffering and going through difficulty. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala remove their difficulty and hardships. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring peace to this dunya, to this world of ours. We live in this world, and we should really have concern for the whole dunya. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give all of us peace and beauty in this dunya, in the time that is left for us here in this dunya. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. As-salatu was-salamu ala Sayyid al-Mursaleen wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'een. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. اللهم أعنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك. اللهم أعنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك. اللهم أعنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك. اللهم وفقنا لما تحب وترضى. اللهم وفقنا لما تحب وترضى. اللهم وفقنا لما تحب وترضى. اللهم إنا نسألك رضاك والعفو والعافية والمعافاة الدائمة في الدين والدنيا والآخرة. اللهم إنا نسألك الهدى والتقى والعفاف والغنى. اللهم اهدنا واهد بنا واجعلنا سببا لمن اهتدى. اللهم إنك عفو كريم تحب العفو فاعف عنا. اللهم إنك عفو كريم تحب العفو فاعف عنا. اللهم إنك عفو كريم تحب العفو فاعف عنا. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. وصلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.